So, welcome everyone. Let us begin, I think. So, just taking a moment within to invoke Mother's presence and in gather our threads of our consciousness on Mother. So, we stopped last here on page 24, where I think we added on a few couple of pages from Veda of the Body, where it was regarding uh, a spiritual attitude and ordinary attitude towards illnesses. So, one part we had read last time, knowledge, I think, what was it? Yeah. So, knowledge, the spiritual way. That's what I had read, and we had shared reflections. So, I thought maybe, I don't know if I should continue, take the power the spiritual way, but I'm not sure about it. So, we can take it at some other point also. And let's go on with these passages, and then we can share our experiences and reflections. So today we have to start with part one, psychological causes of illness. Hmm. So anyone who feels like reading it out aloud for us, most welcome to unmute and read.
I can read. I hope this background music is not very disturbing. Is it like
Yeah, no, it's not coming that
it's
much.
not?
Yeah,
Okay,
go
okay.
ahead. Yeah.
So I'll read then. Psychological causes of illness. An illness of the body is always the outer expression and translation of a disorder, a disharmony in the inner being. Unless this inner disorder is healed, the outer cure cannot be total and permanent.
Yeah, so any thoughts, any ideas are welcome on this. वीरेन वहां पर So I think one question comes, I don't know, with all of us. Mm, that okay, for us ordinary normal human beings, whenever we fall ill or sick, some attitude, something needs to be corrected, right? But then we can wonder, and I'm sure we do wonder, that what about illnesses of realized so-called, much evolved beings than us? uh, so I don't think we will be going on with that exploration here today, because that is I feel that for now our stage wherever we are, it's time for us to take care of whenever there is an outer disharmony. I realize that, oh, maybe I was lost in the forest of thought, maybe I was just too stressed past few months, and something, the body wants to tell, and so that I can correct myself, because that domain is something where we can of course intellectually reflect. We have read, and of course we can share all kinds of experiences, whatever we have read and thought of, but I don't think we have any practical experience of that. So I feel that that's just like mental rumination, and of course that has its own purpose. But I suggest again, happy to take more reflections, but I the suggestion is that we would not be touching upon that aspect here, because again that is a larger field, and we don't know what's the game going on, how, what is the larger plan, how many forces are at play, what all we need to go through, even for people who are, evolved and much realized. So that area where we are talking about illnesses of realized beings, we'll not be touching upon when we are reading this in this domain, because first let us take care of our selves and day-to-day lives, where we can actually benefit from reflecting upon what we just read. Yeah, so an illness of the body is always the outer expression and translation of a disorder, a disharmony in the being, inner being. Unless this inner disorder is healed, the outer cure cannot be total and permanent. So, just coming out of my personal experience with cancer, I can, maybe share something here, that when I was initially, diagnosed, I knew that I was not in a right stage for past few months or a year. I was there was some really disharmony going on, but somehow when we are living in our grooves, we don't get to know even that I'm out of disharmony, or I'm living in disharmony. So I felt really thankful for the wake up call, that thank God for this manifestation. Otherwise, I would actually have never got to know that, okay, now I need to take a stand for whatever has been disturbed in the past 1 year, 1.5 years. So that's how I connect with this these lines, that it gave me a chance to get in touch and acknowledge the disharmony that was going on, too much lost in my stories, too much disturbed feelings, again, feeling or taking all of them to be real, and making all that I perceive from sense perceptions as my reality, and no idea of any other reality. So I feel that it was a luck thing that it gave me a chance to come back home to myself, which at least I could start after getting diagnosed, because there was some knowing that, if I can create it, if my thoughts, my feelings can give rise to this, then hearing this wake up call, hearing this knock knock on the door, I can also maybe, look up what it wants to say and read the message. So there I resonate very deeply with what is in front of me. Yeah. And again, no idea whether it comes back or not. So, totally staying on the ground that if it comes back, then it's again a signal and nothing more than that, that, okay, let's correct something more, let's keep correcting. But there is nothing then one has to be afraid of, because universe is for us and not against us. It would not give us something which we don't, can't benefit from. So whatever the universe manifests, the body manifests for us, something we can benefit from, if we work on it. So that's why I think this is very helpful, that the outer cure cannot be total and permanent unless the inner disorder is healed. So it almost, one can walk on a razor's edge, that, oh, the immediately your inner balance goes vary, again some manifestation tells you that, oh, maybe time to look it up, time to look at the inner disharmony. So I feel that it's a very, diseases and illnesses are very good indicator that we need to come back home, and something is out of place, which we usually don't recognize because we become so habituated to living out of place. Everyone is doing it, and we don't even think that it is out of place, because we have all kinds of entertainment to keep us distracted. Shopping and marriage, and I don't know, some travel around to keep us distracted. But to acknowledge that there is something which can be corrected, I think is very good, when illness is there as an indicator that, it always can help us take a U-turn back uh, towards our true self. Yeah. So enough from my side. So that was just sharing that experience. Yeah. Football. Claudia is throwing a football at me. Better an egg, Claudia. Yeah. Yeah. Anything more anyone wants to add on?
Monica, do you hear me? Yes.
Yes, yes. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I was thinking about this. I mean, the illness is also, I mean, sometimes it's provoked by how to say a collective disharmony, and also, um, for example, certain kind of vaccines. I'm not sure exactly which ones, I cannot say, but I verify with my body that one vaccine for the flu many years ago produced in me more epileptic attacks, and producing me like more negative eyes that I have usually in myself, more self-pity, more or like being negative with everything, and I cannot be grateful. So certain medicines, what that we so-called medicines, or we are very aggressive for our immune system, and they produce the contrary in us. So this harmony, this like disorder. But also I hear and I know that in United States a lot of buildings are built with certain materials that produce cancer in people. And many people actually die because of that. And certain food with have certain chemicals. So what do you think about this? Is because certain people eat it and certain people, and because they are in a lower resonance, or because they are, or it's because you have been in a very not good luck, and then you been living in that situations, and then you get cancer, you get ill, and then I mean, because if you are with this harmony all the time, then you never catch a illness. I mean, I just want to understand well the terminology and this.
Yeah. I think it's
I mean, I
not
know
just,
that you
yeah.
explained many times, but
Yeah.
it's like
No, I think even I don't know, because it's not a black and white answer, I feel. And one thing is for sure, that in our state of consciousness, and ordinarily that we live exposed to all kind of influences outside us. A person said something, I'm triggered. Of course, then a germ is out there and I'm triggered. So we can't help that, because our state of ordinary consciousness is very weak, it's disempowered. And that is why self realization, or knowing who we truly are and stabilizing ourselves in that essence, empowers us. So, consciousness comes with force, Chit Shakti. So, when we know ourselves as consciousness and becomes a practical realization, it actually empowers us. You know, so every time a germ is floating around, I won't just catch it. Why? Because one is empowered by a true force, which is pure consciousness. But again, easier said than done. It is a sadhana, and most of us don't live there. So we are exposed to all kind of influences. But we have an example of, for example, one very famous story of Nisarg Dutt Maharaj, when a person came to him. I don't know who that was. I think, yeah, I can't remember who that was, but anyway, I think maybe it was Ramdas himself. But he came to him and he said that this bunch, this marijuana and weed, this can really give you some luminous experiences. And he produced that bunch in front of him, and he just, you think that, and Nisargadatta Maharaj said that, really? And he just gulped the whole bunch and nothing happened to him. But that's what, we are not in that stage, that we are not influenced by all these things. So you are right when, if there is vaccination going around and one is in a precarious inner state, anything can happen. And again, we see that that vaccine will not be affecting each person in the same way. The same vaccine, 200, 300 people may have taken, but everyone would have different manifestations, and some of them would not be affected at all, as if nothing happened. So what is going on? There is a larger play of forces at work. So it's very difficult to delineate that, is it the only outer stuff that is affecting, that's triggering, or is it something in me? I think the safest bet is that we can always, again, we have no control over the outer situation, but we always have control, or at least we can try, to work with inner stuff. So that's where we gain empowerment. That, okay, vaccine may be vaccine, I don't know about the germs. Now, do I want to get it? Do I want the vaccination? Am I okay without it? So getting intuitive about our decisions, I think, but for that we need a silent mind. In distraction and in a chaotic inner state, we can't know what is the divine will, and intuitively we can't take decisions. So that's why our decisions have to be then based on logic analysis. Okay, 10 people have taken it, they didn't say anything wrong, so okay, let me also take it. Oh, my best friend said I should take it, so let me take it. So we take our decisions based on these analysis, while when we are disconnected from intuition. That's not the best bet, of course, but that's how we are. Would that resonate, or I don't know uh, what you were
Yes,
asking? Yeah.
yes, and also like sometimes like people begins like to say, "Hi, is this flu around? Oh, I have flu. Oh my God, everybody have flu." And then it's like a kind of mind get into your mind, yes, and then everybody get, and then uh, you realize, oh my God, I already with that this flu because of just the mind. And it's
Yes,
just like,
yes.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dr. Alok Pandey talks about, so he talks first about this contagion, which is like spreading fear, spreading doubts, spreading confusions to all your friends around. Or he says that, okay, this can be a contagion, but mothers, having a solid faith in the mother, in the divine, that also can be a contagion. So why not spread that contagion? That having such a solid unshakable faith in the mother, that whatever contagion is around, even if you are, of course, ready to die, it doesn't matter. A mother knows the best. So that is also a contagion, and we can be harbingers of that contagion of faith in the divine. That's also our possibility.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, anyone else, anything to add on? So, looking at it, it also tells us what can be the highest possible way for me to take any illness, not to go into why me, why does it happen to me all the time? Other people are okay, why is it happening with me? Look, that person is living in so much ignorance, it doesn't happen with him, but with me it's happening. So, I think that's a attitude which can just take us down, down, down. And the attitude could be that, okay, something has happened, let me look at my inner stuff, that maybe I find some hints and clues there. So if you have that curious explorer kind of attitude, and mm, we march upon the path with that attitude, not going into the blame game, who is to blame, then I think half of the game is already taken care of. Yeah. Then we can totally, the focus can totally come back to ourselves, and we can begin to sort and organize our inner space, which is good thoughts, simple feelings, uncomplicated mind, using that opportunity of knock knock on the door by the illness that is also there, rather than thinking that something is wrong, and why are others not getting it and me only. Many times that can happen. Yeah. So shall we go ahead and take disequilibrium of the being? Yeah. Okay, I'm assuming no news is good news, so it's a yes. Let's go ahead. So anyone who wants to read, please go ahead.
This equilibrium of the being, the mother. If the whole being could simultaneously advance in its progressive transformation, keeping pace with the inner march of the universe, there would be no illness, there would be no death. But it would have to be literally the whole being integrally from the highest planes where it is more plastic and yields in the required measure to transforming forces down to the most material, which is by nature rigid, stationary, refractory to any rapid remolding change. There are certain regions which offer a much stronger resistance than others to the action of the yogic forces, and the illnesses affecting them are harder to cure. They are those parts that belong to the most material layers of the being and the illness that pertain to them, as, for instance, skin diseases or bad teeth. Sri Aurobindo spoke once of a yogi who, still enjoying robust health and a magnificent physique, had been living for nearly a century on the banks of the Narmada. Offered by a disciple medicine for a toothache, he observed in refusing that one tooth had given him trouble for the last 200 years. This yogi had secured so much control over material nature as to live 200 years, but in all that time, he had not been able to conquer a toothache. Some of the diseases which are considered most dangerous are the easiest to cure. Some that are considered as of very little importance can offer the most obstinate resistance.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know how it fits in. I mean, it does, and yet there was something I remember listening to for the school, and in that the person was talking about Guru Nanak, and he was saying that once Guru Nanak visited a very big, say, doctor, allopathic doctor, I think, and although he was mostly just smiling and simple, right, like not very reactive, but when he looked at the line of the people sitting outside that Ved, and stuff, he just laughed. Like, like he just saw something absolutely crazy. So the vet got a bit disturbed at what is he laughing at, right? So he said, I apologize, but what's funny? Kind. So then Guru Nanak ji said that, first of all, I'm laughing at you, that you think you will be able to cure something from its roots, knowing that you know nothing. You don't know the root of the problem. So I'm laughing at your thing that you can cure. And then, of course, I'm laughing at these lines of people, again, who believe that the cure lies with you, when neither them nor you know what is the root of the problem. Why are diseases there? And so the Ved said, then enlighten me, right? Like, why are they there? What is the root? And then he said, as per the story, that the only reason why the diseases happen is because we have separated from the divine, and none of us know that, right? We keep looking for band-aids and quick fixes, and mostly the medicines are just suppressing, right? This is the cure, this is like just suppress of symptoms, but we don't even know why the thing is happening in the first place. So he was talking about basically how mantras unite the spirit back to the source. So, so just that the root, and how it's about, here it's obviously dividing into the various things, but just that thing kept coming to me, even what we read just before that the separation is the root, and not even realizing that because I am separated, I've come so far, and that is the reason why there are so many attacks.
Yeah, thank you. That was a beautiful example. Mm. And also to see that here, Sri Aurobindo has divided into certain regions are more obstinate, others are not. So how we have, more grosser parts of our body, as he's sharing the teeth or the skin. And we all know that skin diseases are like you have to just live with them lifelong. You can't do anything much about it. And because skin and also this bone, or the teeth part, uh, as we see that how the the life evolves, we see that first we have stone form, and then how we are evolving and how skin came into existence, and these parts still hold a great darkness within themselves, so they don't know their divinity. As mother says, the cells have forgotten their divinity, so it is very hard to change the physical matter to completely to its origin, which is the divine origin. And so all kinds of interplay of forces and all kinds of different degrees of resistances everywhere, but we know that subtle areas are much easier to deal with. For example, the areas of thoughts and feelings, they are easier to deal with. Now if I have a skin disease in life, if I have gotten a skin disease, it still gives me a chance to purify my thoughts and feelings. At least, you know skin will turn later on, how whatever the process one has to follow, the physical process comes later. But I cannot do without it, without sorting, organizing, and turning each thoughts and each feeling back to their divine origin, and then also the physical follows. So I think at least we can take
I'm
this
taking it up.
chance.
Yeah.
Everyone is having a party today. In a party mood, everyone. Yeah, anyway. So at least we can take this initiation that let us start at least from somewhere. As he's sharing that even a yogi is having such a trouble with his one tooth is giving him trouble. So, and somebody can question that, oh, you are a yogi, why can't you heal this? But we see that with Sri Aurobindo also, we see that there are gradations in process of realizations. It's not that if I am realized, oh, I am realized and I'm just the divine itself. It's not how it happens, and the ignorance is not that easy to yield. ignorance is at various levels. So some veils are shed and some are still there. The physical level veils are still there. So long process. And again, not to discount that a person would not have any true realization, because many people question, that especially, I hear many a times why Ramana Maharishi had an illness, while he was such a real. Of course, we have no idea about, how realized he was. I cannot gauge it because I have no measure how to gauge it. So it's I don't think it's our area to comment upon a thing where we are not. So we don't know the interplay of forces. But what is there in my domain, if something has come to me, if I'm realizing that yes, it's a good indicator, I was stressed and I'm living in the forest of entangled thoughts and feelings, maybe now it's time to look at it. There I can work. So yeah.
And I
Hmm.
think also that वो बोलते हैं ना, we are not the body, we are not the mind. I think they are beyond that, these realized souls. And so body वो खुद का समझते भी नहीं होंगे, उनका कुछ लेना देना भी नहीं होगा. It's just a vehicle to function from, and वो vehicle में कुछ हो गया, which is like I think that would be a separate thing ना. Body को जो होना है वो प्रारब्ध कर्म or
Yeah,
something they
I
say ना,
think
या हाँ.
on one level, right, because for example, Ramana Maharishi, they say again, just what I don't understand, better not to talk about it, but they
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that they were Vedantins. So that's why Sri Aurobindo's yoga is different, because it takes body also into consideration, that we don't have to neglect the body. Yes, it is a
Hmm.
lower
Okay,
consciousness, it is
okay.
very dark, but let us involve the body also, and body can also turn divine. So other realized souls were not doing that yoga because maybe the time was not apt for that, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that's why I mean, what you are sharing must have some pinch of truth there. Yeah. Mhm.
Monica, I didn't really understand what you said. That theirs was Vedantic yoga, and Vedantic yoga didn't have much to do with the body.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, it would be nice if you are interested, for example, to read what Sri Aurobindo has to say. Here I think he talks about Ramana Maharishi and some other seekers also, that their yoga, what it meant, and what does integral yoga mean, because there is a difference. It's not the same, and the difference is, one difference is that integral yoga is the transformation of the whole being that we are, the being of mind, life, emotions, and the body towards the divine. While earlier yogas focused on, see, forget about the body because this is a lowly creature. So this is a material thing and it's very hard to change it. So just realize the spirit. You raise yourself into the spirit and leave the body alone. So that's what I understand again. Uh, just a little window, that's what I understand, that they left the body alone. They did not try to transform the body, whereas we see with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, Mother worked on the cells to transform them to their, again, to remind them of their divine origin. So that there is no death needed. That's what she says, that then death is not required. Death is required only because the body lives in such a dark state of ignorance, which nobody has ever tried to work with, because it's a hard call, long, arduous call. So yeah, it would be nice, if you're interested, it would be nice to go through some of their words.
Yeah, but then why did death happen to Sri Aurobindo and the mother?
Because the work is still going on, no? And Sri Aurobindo says that what I could do better, like while in the body, I can't do that much which I can do without the body, because the body still has the darkness and ignorance. So the work is going on, the work is in progress. It's not that the Superman has not yet arrived. It will arrive. Superman means the divine man, completely turned and tuned into the divine. That is not our status. So that is still required. And for Mother and Sri Aurobindo, again, whatever limited window with which we can talk, not that we are qualified to talk, is that the work is still going on and the body still has that ignorance. So you can't just perpetuate it forever. And you see that without the body, you can do realize much more, even for the whole of earth, you can work. And there's like, Sri Aurobindo said, I am here through Nirodh Baran. That consciousness never goes away. And that's why we see that the work they had done, you see that Sri Aurobindo's body was emitting golden glow after many days after he passed away. So and in Buddhism also, there is one signal for, if a person is a truly realized being, they call it Tugdam, in Buddhist
Rainbow
terminology.
body, no?
Yeah,
Rainbow
rainbow
body.
body, and also Tugdam, where the body is lying, usually our body there begins to rot. It begins to smell and it begins to rot. You can't keep it without ice, or it becomes to shrivel, and it turns different in not very beautiful. But with Sri Aurobindo's body, it was emitting a golden glow, I think 4 5 days still after he had so called, being declared not there. So that's the I think that's how we can see that this you cannot fake. You can maybe fake what you are speaking, you can appear realized and actually you are not realized, but when the body is gone, then what's happening to the body, this you can't fake. Then that's a sign that some work has really really happened. Hmm? Yeah. It's a very interesting area of exploration for those of us interested. Also we can get some, some literature from Buddhist saints and Buddhist mystics and masters. And there are many, I think, books and literature, even if you search on Google on rainbow body or this light, and the body is not decaying even after it is dead, happens with many lamas, Buddhist lamas, and also not only Buddhists but also other realized beings who are truly realized, that the consciousness is still keeping the body glow. That is amount of realization that they have truly truly achieved. And again, for me it's just like talking about it. That's why it's hard to discuss about these things, because for us it's just an intellectual discussion, but we have no clue of what actually is going on. So better to keep it us to ourselves and work on our thoughts and feelings rather than getting too much strayed. Because although it's good to get inspired that, see, this is our possibility, but then not to get too much strayed and all that. Yeah, and because then we lose focus on our own inner work. Yeah, any additions, any reflections are welcome. Okay, so I wanted to maybe got reminded of this disequilibrium. I got reminded of a chapter from Veda of the body. Now, thankfully, I have it on uh, like online. We can access it, so it would be nice to just have it in front rather than me reading from a book. So, on disequilibrium, we'll take something from Veda of the body. Hmm. Yeah. So let us see what this has. This is Veda of the Body by Dr. Alok Pandey, a book which is available, not unfortunately not as a downloadable thing, but yes, thankfully as in front of us. Online, all the chapters are there. So illness and inner disequilibrium. Before that, there is a chapter, health, a state of equilibrium. That's the chapter before this, but right now we are just reading this one because it goes on in resonance with what we were reading. So would anyone want to let us go through this? It would be nice. Would anyone want to start it out for us?
Should I read? Yeah. Let me know if the background sound is troubling. Huh?
Abhi to it's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Illness and inner disequilibrium. Our understanding of illness has to move from an excessive preoccupation with structural pathology towards a complete view of the phenomenon. Gross physical illness is only the last and visible end result of a cascading inner misery. The physical organs are the final frontiers and outposts to bear the shock of a deeper inner pathology. Structural pathology is the outermost instrument registering the inner disequilibrium, a last and final call for change. This does not mean it is of any less value. Quite the contrary, the progress of structural pathology does complicate things, and therefore it cannot be ignored or belittled. But to keep on correcting the outer body without any meaningful effort to correct the inner fault is like changing the fuse wire each time it blows off without trying to explore the reasons for the fluctuation of the current and the voltage.
Yeah,
In
thank you.
fact, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think,
all.
yeah, let's
Yeah,
pause here. Yes, thank you.
yeah.
No, it's like imagine that there is a smell coming from somewhere in our house, and we don't know. It sounds funny, smells funny and ugly maybe. But since we are not directly able to access the root of this smell or whatever, it's in the air, we try to infuse the house with various kind of essential oils and incense sticks and whatever, kapoor, many people burn kapoor, camphor. So burning all kind of things and making them appear pleasant, but not really getting to the root of that smell that is there. So that's what in the last few lines he's sharing, that but to keep on correcting the outer body without any meaningful effort to correct the inner fault is like changing the fuse wire each time it blows off without trying to explore the reasons of the fluctuation. So we didn't open the box and see, okay, why the fluctuation is happening. Every time the bulb kind of bursts, it we change the thing, the fuse wire. So that will just lead us more into financial trouble rather than any solution. So whenever we are faced with a problem which is physically, now it is manifesting because we don't hear the minor signals, it is, I think, a very beautiful golden opportunity, I would say, to go to the root cause of the trouble. And it's not a trouble, actually, it's just a signal. How would the body say something? The body does not have words, the body has manifestations. So how would the body tell that, a going the wrong way, a going the wrong way, a going the wrong way? It can't speak. So it speaks through the manifestation, and like something gets disturbed, I have a headache or maybe a stomach ache, telling me that, oh, you maybe ate something more, but through greed, or maybe ate something spicy which doesn't suit you, whatever. So the body tells through these signals, which I can't, actually the word trouble is wrong word to use. The idea is that it's a signal that let me look at what is truly causing it. It's body's language to tell me that we are out of harmony. So if we can approach it with that attitude, again, it's very empowering, that let me look at what is the disharmony.
In that sense, my father, that is a doctor, he say it's very good to have a pain because let us know that we have something wrong in the body. If human being doesn't have a pain, then it's terrible. Yes. So in that sense, I just I mean, want to add this, that the pain is very good to let us know, no, where it is the problem.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. I think many masters also say that pain is an indicator to correct our course. As you said, like I think one example which we had shared in earlier sessions, that we'd go to a doctor only when we are troubled with, oh my God, too much pain. I can't ignore it. So then it makes me see the doctor and find out what is really wrong. So pain or trouble of any kind which we can't ignore is actually, as you said, a beautiful indicator that, okay, time to correct the course. Yeah, so it actually, if in our ignorance, it serves as a signal towards wisdom and intelligence, because we can actually go too far into ignorance. So it is like a corrective measure. Pain is like a corrective measure to save ourselves. Like if my hand is in fire and there is no pain, I can totally burn myself to death. But if the hand is in fire and it's paining, then I am like, okay, let me take the hand out. It helps me save myself. So yes, I think I resonate with that, the
Also
necessity of
suffering,
pain.
no?
Yeah. Yes,
Also
suffering.
mental, emotional suffering. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It takes you towards more realizations. Yeah.
True, true. Yes. Yes. And that's why mother says that suffering at the moment is necessary, in the sense like why we can benefit from it, because as long as ignorance is there, pain and suffering will need to be there. As like tha, okay, correct the course, tha, and nobody is doing tha, we are ourselves doing it, because we don't know that we ourselves are our designers of our life. Nobody else is sitting out there and doing tha. But yeah, as long as we have the capacity to be ignorant and to fall off the right path, then pain and suffering come as a kind of a reminder that, okay, let's take the better course which is possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything here?
Monica.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I think from the beginning, from the childhood, this consciousness should be inculcated in all the children. See, we are all grown up. If something comes, we always, feel, why did I get this headache? Why did this happen to me? We are brought up like that. No? So this is beautiful. See, this first paragraph itself is so powerful that everything is in. We have to, if any problem we have to look deep within ourselves.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yes. Yeah, so I
Thank
think
you.
it's a good idea to cultivate a good attitude, as you were sharing. That,
Yeah,
okay, if some trouble has happened, let me look at it. Not like, oh, I am the victim and how did it
yeah,
happen to me? Yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of us, mostly we always think that why did this happen to me?
Mm,
Why me? Why me?
yeah. And we see that when we are in why me position, then it only disempowers us.
Yeah.
It doesn't empower us.
Yeah.
While if we look at it as a curious explorer, that, okay, this has happened, let me look at it, then it empowers us and we can actually take responsibility and do the cleaning that is required. Yeah. So whatever is empowering, I think that's a very, again, one tool, one signal that it's the right way for me. Whatever is empowering. Yeah. So Arpit has shared something here. Arpit, do you want to read it out, or do you have the capacity to unmute and read?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this one
The
is
one that you
from
have pasted, yeah, you can share.
November 20,
Unmute.
1963 and agenda. And let me just 1 second. Yeah, so so this one is the mother saying that let me just have a look. so she's saying that only you should have returned to it. You cannot have authority over your body without having left it. Once the body is no longer you at all, once it is something that has been added and tacked onto you, once it is that way, and you look at it from above, a psychological above, then you can come down and do it again, and as its all-powerful master. So this one was in November 20, 1963. I wanted to point this one out because, like, this is something that, like, right now we're dealing with, first of all, the issues with the gross physical, which are the most material aspects, as we read, that the most material is of the being offer most resistance. So yeah, like looking at this, basically it is something that is true, but that's the work that Mother and Sri Aurobindo have done, especially the mother later on, the work that of making the body conscious. So since that time, it's already been 50 years. So what that kind of means is that the body as a whole, the problems that mother faced and the work that she's done has an effect in the whole earth consciousness and the body of the whole um, human ecosystem and the human biology. And so that whole aspect of, the trouble that the mother was facing, like Satprem asked the mother, if this is something that you're facing, that means that we won't have to face it, and everybody doesn't have to go through the whole bunch of experiences of these kinds. And she said, yeah, that's true. That's the reason why she's facing these things. And that kind of gives us the hope that now even the most material physical has been made conscious. And what we are seeing these days is from a various range of therapies. We are seeing all sorts of results even in the most physical layers, like, for example, all sorts of lumps and tumors and everything disappearing with the action of some kind of a force, some kind of a technique, some tool, some therapy, whatever it is, with when it is done with a certain amount of faith, then you are seeing these results more and more and more people are coming forward. Like previously it used to be like, yeah, one guy somewhere has had some result, but now it's like everywhere everything is appearing once again. So yeah, just wanted to point this out. But this point is that something like this is something that once you have this experience, you must obviously be able to detach yourself from the body, from the pain. Of course, pain is a indicator of where the trouble is. If there is some trouble, and sensation is that part of the process that you understand the body and you connect to it. But once you know that this is something that is there, once you've figured this out, then you must be able to detach from it. It doesn't mean that you become insensible. It just means that you can keep it away from yourself sufficiently far enough that it doesn't really touch you too much. That kind of a distance, once that's been maintained, is kind of like you have a link with the body, but it's not the same link as you have or ordinarily. You don't have the same link. You rise up into your more subtle physical and higher levels of your bodies, and into that. From that, then you can act on the body. That gives you a power because you are acting from a higher, what you call that, you're acting from a higher level. So yeah, that's what it means, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that was very uh, relevant. Yes, I think it's also somehow I can also make a connection that what I think Shweta was asking in the beginning about, like Ramana Maharishi, or they kind of transcended the body. So we see that how in the progressive evolution of human consciousness, that step is a necessary step, that first transcend and then come back and be the master. So then we can relate with what you just shared. And the other thing is that even when we are trying to sort and organize our inner being in terms of thoughts and emotions, they're also the same process. That's why we read again and again in masters have suggested that first you step back. If you remain entangled in the thoughts and emotions, then you no control over it. You are just a puppet of all the forces. So first we step back, we stabilize as long as possible. We continue to do that, to stabilize as the witnesser, the witnessing stance, the witnessing consciousness. Now stabilizing ourselves there, then we can have a effectual mastery over our thoughts and feelings. So same what you were sharing, I could relate, as is with the body, also works for thoughts and feelings. To be, as mother says, to be the master of our thoughts and feelings. That's what is our destiny. Same for the body consciousness. So yes, that's very empowering to
So
read it. And
Monica,
yeah,
uh,
yes.
like in integral yoga, when we hear that body transformation is the last, is it connected to this? Like, I mean, first you reach a point, then distance from your body, and then you come, or it's like parallelly happening. The thing we say that body transformation, after you purified enough, last is the body transformation. So I
Mm,
just
mm,
wanted to
mm,
understand that better.
mm. I think it can also happen parallelly, because the level of purification at the thoughts and level of purification of feelings would definitely have an effect on the body. Is not somewhere else, it is connected. It's intermingled with thoughts and emotions. So if we are working and purifying on the level of thoughts, mind and life, mind and vital, which are the subtlest layers and most like also accessible to us, and we can work upon that, it will parallelly have its effect. But I think conscious effect of the physical transformation will, I believe, will be the last. And that's why mother says, when she's talking about food, that if you become sattvic in your food first, and you have not started to work on your thoughts and feelings, they are very gross and crude, and with all kind of ill wills and ugliness, then it hardly makes any difference, because the body will not be able to sustain it. So you have to prepare the body that it is ready for that purity. Where is it coming from? From the level of thoughts and feelings. So they have been purified and worked upon. Now the body also wants that kind of purity in itself. So that's why she shares that sattvicity of food, or whatever you want to work upon. Of course, many people do it parallelly. Like I'm working with thoughts and feelings also, and I feel like changing something or the other with my food. But the effect which manifests would be the last. First we will see the manifestation in thoughts and feelings, that, oh, now I feel a little balanced and organized and simple, uncomplicated. Mind is light, the heart is simple. That we can sense, and then the darker part, which is the body, which we have no clue how it is functioning. So that requires, I believe, again, just a belief that that requires a little bit of a higher consciousness, which right now it's difficult to access before purifying thoughts and feelings. But the effect will be there. It's not to say that if I'm working on my thoughts and feelings, the effect won't be there. The effect on physical will be seen, because they are intermingled, they are not separate, like boxed and categorized. So yeah, I think it's all the ways, like body affects thought and emotion, thought and emotion affect the body, and yet the true transformation in the body will be the last. That's what has been shared. And I feel that the working on thoughts and emotion also prepares the body for some purity and light, a higher light, which body usually does not have the strength to have. Like mother shares that you keep on asking for bliss and ananda, but do you know that if I use my full force, your body will not be able to take it. You'll be shattered. So I feel that as we work on our thoughts and feelings, we gain a certain strength owing to the grace. And that grace prepares also the body for receiving light, knowledge, wisdom, love, and more purity. So yeah, rather I would say a long, long, long journey, and yeah, on so many levels. Yeah, anything more anyone wants to add on here?
Yeah, one small comment. Lot of times, and it's a lived experience that I'm sharing. If I'm not able to understand something, my focus is so much there that I cannot understand this or this I am not resonating with. Like right now, if say we are reading, it is a possibility that there are certain things which are not adding up, right? Because we are so used to that 2 plus 2 is 4. But that's just maths, right? And life and truth and things are so much above maths, for example, or logic, or this doesn't make sense. The sense is limited. So I think because we cannot understand something, we just throw the whole thing away. Oh, this doesn't make sense. But there are always certain things which I can change. Like you said, that thoughts and feeling is something I can definitely work on right now. And maybe this will come, right? The other things slowly follow. I will have to have that faith, right? But just this, I find that sad and tricky that how the ego at times, because it cannot grasp or say that that's bullshit, right? That doesn't make sense. Just throw it. Where are they going? What is it? What's happening? Why was he then not able to do it? Just because I cannot grasp something, to just wanted to share that it's really important for me to do what I can right now. The things that I can see, I must see and rest. There's so much I don't see anyway. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, very true. Thank you. Yes. और उसमें क्या होता है, आई थिंक वी काइंड ऑफ एज यू से यू थ्रो द बेबी विद द बाथ वाटर. सो वो जो छोटा कर सकते थे उसकी भी अपॉर्चुनिटी उसमें, इट्स लाइक इट passes off. Yeah. And we see, I think uh, we see that slowly as we walk and begin to take joy in this journey, and which naturally will come because if we are truly working with our thoughts and feelings and seeing how it works and seeing the complexity, and then kind of working on sorting, organizing, I feel there is a certain joy. Now with that joy, because of the progress on the path, now I don't bother whether the the result on in the physical level comes when. So that bother goes away. Now whether either the disease comes back, not comes back, doesn't matter, because now you have something so beautiful at hand, that wow, what exploration. So when the exploration begins to give us joy, then we, as you were sharing, just kind of extrapolating it, that then we'd stop to wonder about the end result, that when will I achieve the physical transformation in my body. Then that thought doesn't happen, because we are having anyway the day to day joy of working, like an explorer is enough.
No, but Monica, like, no,
Hmm.
no, that is true. That is at a very ultimate level. I understand that. But when we are, reading this together, integral healing, it is somewhere to understand how we can heal and connect, to the larger energy, and, understand how wrong we were, and how, silly we were. Like, ye nahi samjha tha, wo nahi. Because actually, looking back, I understand. Oh my God, so much aches and pains, which was like you like kind of पाल रहे थे लास्ट 10-15 साल से. यू आर एक्चुअली यू लाइक एक्चुअली टेकिंग केयर कि हाँ दर्द है दर्द. यू डिडंट नो. एंड सच में ये काफी समझ आने से लाइक वो गोइंग डीप डाउन, फाइंडिंग द रूट कॉज एंड ऑल, इट यू सी द डिफरेंस इन योर बॉडी. लाइक सो मेनी especially these pains, unknown, ये जो bodily pains है काफी कुछ. You can see that, oh, you're not having this pain now. You don't even realize अरे ये तो गया, ये तो चला गया, last few days ये दर्द ही नहीं है and all. So somewhere all this is like at that level also ना, कि आप सीख रहे हो, समझ रहे हो, और आपको वो नजर भी आ रहा है. So there is a motto also that आप ये integral healing समझने की कोशिश कर रहे
No,
हो.
you're right. See, motto is there. Of course, we were suffering, we were having pains. Now we are working a little. We see, okay, at times it affects the physical level. I see a manifestation. But then, if we are truly learning, we will also see that, oh my God, I don't know anything about these things, how they work. and somehow we touch a space within us, which we call either the soul consciousness or any other name, that actually I am beyond death and lifetimes. So
Oh, yes,
it would not be direct, it would not be like, oh, I am beyond death and life, not like that, but somehow this subtle sense of being more than these lifetimes begin to dawn in. You can't help it. It will. If the progress is there on the path, it will come. And that's why the fear won't be there. That what if that pain comes again? Right? What if that disease comes again? That fear you let go of. I mean, it's dropped off. You don't even let go. You didn't do anything. The only thing that you were doing is further and further purifying your being at all the levels that you become conscious of. That's all that you are doing. And the byproduct is that you see that, oh my God, it's a large game. And even if this body drops dead, the journey, the spiritual evolution or all that is going on, that doesn't end here. I was reading a very beautiful story of Dr. Alokda was mentioning, Alok Pandey. He said that Sri Aurobindo recounts the story of Baji Prabhu, and what he was, so he was fighting against the Mughal emperor, and they were only very few, like they were 50 in their strength, like the soldiers, and the other side was around 3000 and even more. So there was hardly any chance that this could work, but he still wanted to fight because he knew that this has to be done. It is right, these people can't be allowed to just conquer our territory. So he was fighting, and then his friend, I can't remember his name, Tanaji or what, he came and he said that, oh, now I have to go and fetch the other people, other friends to fight on our behalf. But I know that by the time that I am here, you will be dead because you're hardly 20 left now. And but don't worry, I will give you a grand funeral, something like that, he says. So Alokda said that, Baji Prabhu said that, uh, you will give me a grand funeral? What are you talking? So he was just sharing that from what level of consciousness he was working. He said that, brother, we are going to meet, you know, after we drop off this body dead. What are you saying that you will give me this thing that never dies? You're going to this a grand funeral. What are you talking of? So with that consciousness, he was fighting. And this, he was sharing that this is the consciousness of the psychic. So when we are dealing even with the day-to-day illnesses or chronic, diseases, or even not chronic, something that we become afraid of, what I was trying to share is that the more we walk on the path and we develop an intimacy and love for the path, we actually come in touch with something which is just beyond birth and death. So now there is no worry, and factually, not even intellectually and theory. Like in my body, I feel that yes, even if I die, I know that I don't die. I know that this journey is long. This process of evolution and victory over physical nature is a long journey, and I'm going to come back again. So that seeps in the being. And that's our true victory. If we are talking of mottos and victory, that connection with our immortal self, and not only in theory and mind, but in the body, I can feel that yes, no part of my being is fearful of dying, or being hurt, or getting the disease again. No part fears it, because it knows that whatever comes is for a reason. Then something solid we can see is happening, out of divine grace. So that then changes the motto. The motto now
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
right?
Yes, yes, it goes
Yeah,
parallelly.
yeah,
But wo hai na, like I remember when we thought kya next what to take, then we decided we'll take integral healing. So it's been a journey where you wanted to
true.
know more. How does this work? Like it's magical. So yeah, and parallelly, what you're saying, everything makes sense. Yeah, you also feel that, and you're moving towards that. But वो भी है कि मतलब जब शुरू किया था यही जानना था कि कैसे फिजिकल हेल्थ कैसे पाते हैं सो दैट
वेरी ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू. आई थिंक वही वाली बात है ना, जैसे कहते हैं कि लाली लाली मेरे लाल की, आई थिंक कबीर कपलेट, और मे बी Sufi mystic, I can't remember exactly. Lali mere lal ki jit देखूं तित लाल, लाली देखन मैं गई, मैं भी हो गई लाल. So we went with a, I'm just kind of taking a different level of its interpretation, that we went with a different question, but the question changed, and maybe they dissolved, and now the question is not there anymore, but the walk on the path is even intense. So absolutely resonate when you're sharing that we start with different questions, but what we are in for, we have no idea, what will be revealed step by step in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives so much more than what you're looking for.
True, true. Yeah. Yeah. So I think maybe we can take rest of this inner disequilibrium next time. Uh, and maybe today we can take any last reflections if they are there, and yeah, end today here. Yeah, anyone, anything to add on before we end?
I just loved what we read right now from the Veda of the body. I joined late, sorry, and something happened to my computer. I don't know what kind of picture came from somewhere. It picked it up.
Yeah, I think now nothing is
I
coming.
was-
It's like blank now. Yeah.
well, I've changed that, because so anyway, so yeah, so Alokda has so beautifully each line when you read that introduction that so resonates that whenever we are encountered with an illness, whenever there is a diagnosis of a disease, whatever, now when we are reading this, now it is for us now to reflect. Disease to ho gaya, diagnosis bhi ban gayi, report aa gaya, and final ho gaya ki ye thyroid ki problem hai, ya fir diabetes hai, pancreas ki problem hai, ya hypertension hai, pata lag gaya, ab karna kya hai. So अक्सर सबसे simplest तो होता है कि दवा खा लें, और it is important, not belittling, because when one is in a problem, when one is diagnosed with an illness, then to start off the journey of practicing integral yoga at that very moment is very, very difficult. When you are already on the journey, then also one can go haywire. One does get bewildered when you are diagnosed with something, but it is still, with you are shaky, but yet you have a ground to base yourself, and you can still. So I'm just saying, whether we have started this journey, or whether we have walked a little further, or whether we are far ahead in this journey, wherever we are, there's one thing that I understand is that whenever there is an illness in the body, we have to just reflect that it is coming from somewhere deep within. While we have to continue doing whatever the doctors say, but continue taking our medicine, because we have to support ourselves at that point of time from whatever sources the help is available, till we are in a state to handle ourselves, and also the disease. So I'm just saying, these days, like, thyroid problems, diabetes, hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism or hypertension, these have become like an epidemic, and also mental illnesses, all sorts of things. So they are becoming an epidemic, and we are using medicine. When I feel so sorry, thyroid ki problem ho gayi, how I look at it, थायराइड की प्रॉब्लम हो गई, अब हमको मेडिसिन लेना है, अब तो लेना ही है, ऑफ कोर्स लेना ही चाहिए. बट आई ऑल्सो लुक एट इट दैट वे, दैट सपोज करो कि थायराइड की प्रॉब्लम हुई तो हुआ क्या, तो थायराइड जिसको अपना काम करना चाहिए था वो नहीं कर पा रहा, it has become weak. It is not producing that particular hormone which is supposed to do some function in my body. So what I do, I take that hormone in the form of medicine from outside. Like, this is an example of thyroid that I'm giving. So what I am giving, what is the signal that I'm giving to my own thyroid gland? Imagine your thyroid gland to be an individual. an individual with a brain, with a feeling, with everything. Now, and that individual is not well, you are supposed to make it well. You are supposed to work on it to make it strong. Now, when you are not working on it to make it strong, and when you just keep like taking external support, you are giving it the feeling that you are good for nothing. And that is what happens, that over a period of time, the medicine, the dose of the medicine keeps on increasing. Our thyroid becomes sadder and sadder, wrong English, but just it becomes more sad. It stops functioning at a point of time that it totally stops functioning, and we are totally dependent on this medicine. If while we are taking medicine, when it is necessary, if we could also work upon ourselves, doing some simple exercises to start with, because I feel when you tell people to just sit down, close their eyes and meditate, some people find it, many people who have not been meditating, they find it very, very difficult. So simple neck exercises for thyroid, let's say, or so anything, whatever works for that person. Walking, if nothing else, I have seen walking tremendously helping, jogging, simple things that even when you just walk, it helps your entire body. And when I say walk, I see many people walking, but while they are walking, they are also talking. And this talking happens on phone, isn't it? So when you're walking and talking, then you are not being with yourself. And the best walk is when you are not walking with anybody else. This I'm saying because I try and do it for my own self. And I've seen that it does work. And when I'm walking with my own self, I am more observant of things around me, the nature. I can even feel the breeze, everything. And I am with my thoughts. And sometimes some of the questions I might be pondering over through the day, I get my answers. And all that, if that means there's something within me gets resolved through my answers. Why I'm bringing this up? Because if I am not with myself, I have left it unresolved, that itself develops over a period of time in the form of diseases in our body. Now, कौन सी सोच कौन सी डिजीज पैदा करेगी ये तो मुझे नहीं पता है, बट कि क्या पता अगर बहुत जिंदगी में मिठास की कमी है तो शायद डायबिटीज हो जाए, शुगर, हमारे डायबिटीज, हमारे पैनक्रियाज को ये इंडिकेशन जा रही है कि शक्कर की जरूरत है, मिठास की जरूरत है, तो ब्लड में ही रहने दो, शुगर को क्यों पहुंचाना उसको लिवर में, वहीं रहने दो, बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट साइलेंटली और अननोइंगली, accidentally, that is what indication we are giving to our body. We are so powerful, but unknowingly, because we are doing it accidentally, it is happening without our awareness. We don't realize how much we are doing. And if we become aware, then how much more we can undo what we have done. So by thinking in a certain way about our miseries, about our, feeling less about things in our life, over a period of time, if we dwell in a certain kind of thought, we bring in that disease. And if we are doing all this with Monica, thank you so much for doing this integral healing. This book was lying with me for I don't know how many years, but I picked it up and I read few pages. I found it very difficult. And we are reading it together and we are walking on this journey, learning together. It is so beautiful that I am learning so much from you all. And thank you, Monica, for that. So since we are doing this, we should reflect whenever we are faced with any disease, any illness, that there's something, ponder that there's something. क्या अपने से ही पूछती हूँ मैं कि क्या प्रॉब्लम है तुझे, क्या बॉदर कर रहा है, what is it that is bothering you, कहाँ से आया है ये, और फिर अपने से ही बात करके ढूंढने की कोशिश करती हूँ कि कहाँ से आया. जरूरी नहीं है मुझे हर बार वो आंसर मिल ही जाए, बट इस बात को करने से भी मैं अपने आप की मदद कर पाती हूँ, मैं अपने आप को हिम्मत दे पाती हूँ, तसल्ली दे पाती हूँ, और शायद अपने अंदर की कोई भी डिजीज, कोई भी इलनेस, कोई भी सिम्टम, नॉट नेसेसरी अ डिजीज बट जस्ट अ सिम्टम, उसको कम कर पाती हूँ, अपने ही दर्द को कम कर पाती हूँ. And a long time back, I had a small nodule in my breast. I woke up with a nodule and I went to my friend and I said, just check this. What is this? This, I hope, these days, because of the cancer thing, carcinoma. So you always think, this was a couple of years back, and we figured out that there's nothing to worry. And she said, okay, give 1 month. Priyanka will just review it. So let's see if it grows or regresses or whatever. And I came back and I said, I'm going to resolve this. And I started jogging. And I'm telling you, every day I used to jog with this belief that I'm oxygenating every cell of my body. And I used to just jog. And in 10, 15 days, it just regressed. And I forgot about it. So much later, I met this friend of mine. She said, oh, you didn't come. I said, oh, I jogged and it's over now. So I'm just saying that this I'm speaking out of my own experience. So if I can do it, so can everybody. And I know you all must be doing it. You all would have done it. Not that I am any unique or I'm but I'm just sharing that this, just by simple jogging, if I could resolve that, and we all can do it only if we are aware of it. We can undo our doing. So, yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, very
Yeah,
empowering.
thank you. That was really good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone wants to add on anything before we end?
Nothing. I want to say kudos to ma'am for sharing.
Yeah. So I think let's take a moment to ourselves, sharing all the joy, elation, wisdom, intelligence, all the understanding and merit of collective reflection, sharing it with all the sentient beings. May all of us have peace in our hearts and minds. And lots of progress and joy in our lives. May our merit be shared with all the sentient beings. Thank you. And I am reminded of how in India, when we come from any temple, I'm sure people will resonate that when we come from any temple or bring some prasad, like the sweet tiny bits that we get at the temple or either a gurdwara or somewhere, it is said that you get it is nice. It is nice to share your prasad with everyone. The maximum number of you people you can share your prasad with, the sweet tiny bits that you got from the temple or gurdwara or wherever. It's the bestest, it is said. So something like that only we do by dedicating our merit, all the merit and goodness that we accumulate all the times with the satsang or any other things, that since we are not disconnected from each other, and if other people are affected and I may be joyful, just sharing, if I feel any elation, any joy, any wisdom, any understanding that we share, we become conscious of, we immediately distribute it, and knowing that we are all interconnected and we are never disconnected. So that's the spirit of sharing, the dedication and merit. So thank you everyone, and for all your reflections and listening questions, and wishing all of us very happy practice and happy festivities, whatever is going on regarding Christmas and New Year. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.